Hi there, my name is Neil Robinson. I'm the sales manager here at Stork Machinery. Myself and Keris have taken some time out today to give you a pretty quick product overview of our Megamix Lagoon pump. So the Lagoon pump, the Megamix, is at the top of our range of mixers, and it's available as a 7, 8, 9 or 12 metre mounted machine, and then as a 17 or 20 metre trailed machine. Everything is fully galvanised where it can be, as with all Stork machinery, to give us that extra product life. And as you'll see as we look over the product, it's built to a really high standard and really strong. So as we work down the machine, we'll talk through it, but let's set off at the top end. So we've got a robust A-frame up the top end, and it's the same A-frame that we would use on a 7 metre or a 12 metre, so built to carry an awful lot of strength on the road and put up with that bouncing on the road. It makes consideration for hydraulic couplings, so we've got parking positions so they're not dragging on the floor, contaminating the tractor. We've a PTO stand here for when it's parked up, so again it's not on the floor getting damaged. Feet on the bottom, so it's also important to consider storage as well as usage. We have a single acting hydraulic ram for these two beefy cylinders that controls the depth of the machine, and then we've got 3 double acting spools after that which control our spout rotation, our spout up and down, and then our mix to pump function, which we'll talk about as we get down the bottom end. We've a heavy duty shear box protected PTO here, and this is working at 1000 RPM on this machine. You can see bearings wise, lots of access for getting into grease. And while I'm talking about that, we have top end here a grease line kit which is standard on the machines, so when the mixer is down in operation we don't have to take any guards off, we can grease it here and keep the machine productive throughout the day. Moving down, we put this PTO shaft in here, and this PTO shaft is in because the frame is pitched, and the frame is pitched at 15 degrees to really accommodate the actual top PTO shaft. We're working in some quite deep lagoons here, and you can see the pitch of the machine is going to sit like this. We don't want the PTO shaft awkward, so by putting this 15 degrees in here, we can maintain a nice level PTO angle at the top, reducing stress, reducing wear. Heavy duty box, and we've got this 55mm shaft, top end and bottom end, running through in this machine, which is a baby at 7 meters. Top bearing here, middle bearing here, we have a rubber protection here, and then with our standard cassette bearing at the bottom, which we'll come to. Now we let slurry travel through the impeller and up this box section to here, and we use that slurry to lubricate our bottom bearing. But if we take a look underneath, you can see here a cage area with a hole so that slurry can exit the box here, and we've got a flow of slurry through this box section, so it's not stagnant, the slurry that's lubricating the bearing, it's passing through it at all times and through the box section circulating. Now, as with all of our mixers and our pumps, we have then a rubber bearing down the bottom end. Slightly different here in terms of it's not a loose bearing, it's a bearing that's part of a cassette assembly, and this is a spare part, and we'll look at where it's situated on the machine in a minute. But you can see with a rubber bearing we've got the teeth cut out, and this bolts in. On that 55mm shaft that comes down, we have this collar which tacks onto the drive shaft and then passes through here. The idea is that slurry passes through here, and anywhere, so this machine can be operated in sand laden slurries, anywhere that is happening between this replaceable collar here and this replaceable cassette. So we're trying to build a machine that will wear but has replaceable components. Now if we just come around the other side, Keris, we can have a look at where that cassette is situated on the machine. So we can see our main shaft, main box section here and you can just about see here it's sandwiched between the main box and the impeller housing there. Okay, so let's talk about the business end of things. So here we have a 600mm impeller housing with a 400mm impeller, which we'll look at in a second. This one is painted red, which tells me it's Hardox. The standard is a mild steel. The Hardox is an option. A lot of customers were taking it on sand laid in lagoons, but to be honest, it's probably 80% of what we sell now is the Hardox. It just prolongs the replacement and makes servicing a lot easier. We've got here, this is our the impeller, and it's worthwhile. Here's one I made earlier, as it's on Blue Peter. You've got a 400mm 4-blade impeller, and you've got the induction auger here. And the idea of the induction auger is it increases the performance of the machine because it's dragging slurry in and stimulating slurry to come in. And we have bolted on the bottom as standard here a chopper kit. So as the auger is turning 1000 RPM, it's then working against the chopper kit, breaking up lumps of crust that may pass through there, straw, silage, net wrap if you will. But it also helps, to my end, improve the suction and the performance of the pump. We're looking round and about 4,500 gallons a minute, so that's just over 20 cubes a minute in terms of the slurry that's being processed through here. And this machine, from a single point in the lagoon, will handle about 1 million gallons, so that's 4,500 cube lagoons from a single point. We start moving those points, the machine has much more capacity than that. Worthwhile talking about while I'm down here, as with most of our larger mixers, it's got the cow horn to take that weight and the robustness that's going to go onto the bottom of the lagoon. If you're into a lined lagoon, then we can put onto there a wheel kit, so the wheel kit bolts on here, and it's not so much impact on the bottom of the lagoon and the lining of the lagoon. So moving up, we've got 6-inch jetter pipe here, and we talked earlier about those hydraulic hoses and what they're used for. So here we have a hydraulic motor, and it allows the spout to move from its current parked position there, and it will jet nearly underneath where the tractor sits on the lagoon bank, right the way around 300 degrees to the other side. And then while it's moving, we can also operate the jetter up and down, which gives us complete control of where we are jetting the slurry. Now, I get a lot of comments that people do not want to aerate the slurry and let the ammonia escape to the atmosphere. Our videos are only part of what this machine does. In theory, when it's above, we'll use it to break down that crust and get the lagoon crust moving. But in its normal format, this is all submerged in the slurry, and it's fine to have this under the slurry. That's how we've designed it. Just doesn't make very exciting product videos when everything's underneath and all you hear is a tractor revving. We mentioned the line lagoons a second ago in terms of the wheel kit. What about lagoons with covers on, Neil? Well, basically this is available with a slightly smaller jetter, and we can put a cage arrangement around that so we can operate underneath covered lagoons and not damage the top of that cover lagoon. Those generally have a goalpost arrangement which winds the cover up to allow us to back in and then winds it back down. So that's how people are accommodating that, and I think that's something that's going to come more in the future as we cover lagoons. So it's a mixer pump. Primarily it's a mixer, and it can be bought just as a mixer. We just put a plate on here and we don't use the pumping capacity. It's only used as a mixer. This top section goes. But I would say 85-90% of sales now are where people are using it as a mixer and a pump. So we can close this cap off, which is again our third double acting spool. We can stop slurry coming out of the jetter here, and we can now feed slurry up this side pipe here and out of the top there. Why would we do that? 3 reasons really. We can top fill tankers with our really simple top fill pipe kit. We can supplementary feed an umbilical pump such as a Doda and a Bauer, and it really increases the performance of an umbilical pump and saves a tremendous amount of wear. And the third thing is, if you really want to, we can move the slurry from one lagoon to another. Only a short distance, because We talked about how much it's doing, so 4,500 gallons a minute. It's a high volume but a low pressure pump, so we're not going to use it as an umbilical pump outright to pump to an applicator. Options wise, we've got trailers, and if you look at sort of the 9 meter and definitely the 12 meter, the transport trailer is a real big consideration, and that comes with a lighting kit and is hydraulically braked, so makes it more suitable for moving from one location to another. We also then have a top fill, a purpose-built top fill kit, which is on remote. So we have a pipe coming down the top here, which can be controlled from your tank attractors, which allows a pipe to tank to top fill from the left or the right and gives us complete control. So the range has developed over the last 15 years. It's not a new machine, it's well and truly proven. Interesting enough, this machine is going to New Zealand. So we have them in New Zealand, Australia, Russia, Ukraine, Poland, obviously lots in the UK. So it's a well-known worldwide product. I think from there, really, the conclusion is that we, as everything Thorth, it comes with an operator's manual, so a really concise operator's manual. It's CE marked, it's UKCA marked. We have parts on the shelf. And if you want to know more, please pick up the phone to me or one of the sales team and we'll happily tell you more. Thanks a lot for your time today.